Okay, in this video we are talking about a simple problem which is a part of library management system. Now in library management system kind of project, what we will have is we will have a list of books, and ideally there will be more data apart from just the book title. But since we are talking about a smaller problem, we are taking one file which has only book titles. Ideally there will be page number, author, all those details will be there in this file. So essentially for the overall project we need to use structure, but we are focusing only on small problem here. So the problem statement that we are going to define is let's say user enters a name. The problem is user enters a book name and we have to tell whether book is there in library or not, and we are assuming all the book names that are there in this booklist.txt file, they are the ones that are there in the library. So problem statement is clear. Input will be book name, so we are going to write a function which is going to take book name as input, and output will be function will say it is available, it will print available or not available. That's the only thing we are trying to achieve. So let's quickly get started with the C project. So we create a new project, console application C, and we say let's create it on desktop, and we say this is book search. Now in this we go ahead, okay, wait, I accidentally closed the project. Search. Okay, so we want to write a function, and that function will simply be, it will return a boolean. So since C does not have any bool data type, so we have to use stdbool.h, and our function will be, okay, since we said function will simply print available or not available, we can simply go with a void return type, and we say print availability of a book. What it needs as input parameter is a book name, and book name we know it will be a string, so we say char book name, and this will be a character array because strings are character arrays. Now we'll ask in the main function, we'll ask user about book name. So here also we define a variable, let's say char w, let's define it 200 to hold the user input, and we ask user enter book name. Then we do scanf %s w. Now one thing we should note here, a book name can contain spaces, but scanf has a limitation, it reads only a string before the space. So scanf will not suffice our need in this case. So rather than using scanf, let's use getS function. GetS is a function that is used to take the input which can have spaces as part of it. So getS w will give the book name in w. So let's just to validate, let's also print you entered %s. Let's validate program this much. After that, what we will do is, after this much validation we have done, then simply we will call this function, and this function will print available or not available. This book name we will be passing to that function, print availability, and we'll give w because w is the book name that user is giving. So let's quickly compile it, run it, and we say mark the way, and it says you entered null. Okay, let's quickly see what is the getS signature. C library function getS, and yeah, so it reads the character from standard input, stores in a C string, return value on return, it returns string, pointer to block of memory where the string read is copied. Okay, ideally the string should have been copied to w, but strangely it is not being copied into this. Okay, the mistake is here that I did not print the W, so I think we are doing the right thing. The mark way, it says you entered the mark way, so we are able to take user input perfectly, and now we are passing it to this function, and this function will tell the book is available or not. A simple algorithm here will be, we will say open the file which contains the books, read line by line, and after reading line by line we have to compare, check if any given line matches book name. If in that file, if any line matches the input parameter book name, if that happens, we will print, in this case we will print it is available. Otherwise we will move on to next. We will not say not available, because until unless we have scanned all the lines we cannot say not available. So this will be inside a loop, and otherwise when we come out of loop, then we will say if print available has not been printed, then we will be printing not available. That's the simple algorithm that we will do. Now if it, in case it prints print available, the book is available, we should be returning from here. Reason we are returning is, otherwise it will go forward out of the loop, it will again print not available. So we don't want that to happen, so we will simply return if the book is found. If it is not found, we will come out of the loop and we will print not available. Now this is the logic we have to write, and in the end, since we are writing file handling related program, we should be closing the file. So this is the simple algorithm that we are going to implement. How we will implement is, in order to open a file, we will take file star fp equals fopen, and we have to give the file path. So here this is the file path, copy as path. Let's go back and we paste the file path. So after giving the file path, we have to tell which mode are we opening in. So we are opening it in read mode, and eventually once we are done with the program, we will do fclose fp. So we will be closing the file in the end. Now the file is opened, we have to read it line by line in a loop. So what we will do is, we will say while not feof, while we have not reached end of the file, then we should be reading it line by line. So this inside this loop, so loop will terminate as soon as we reach the end of the file. That means if file is over, we have reached the end, then we will come out. Another thing to notice is slashes, we have to make them double, because slashes act as an escape sequence in C. So we have to make the slashes in path double. Another thing is, if file open fails, one reason may be if we would have given wrong path, if file does not exist, that case we should be handling here. So we can check if fp is null, we can say, because if file opening fails, fp becomes null. So we can say file %s not found, and we say book not this. In fact, this is the path, that's the file path. Let's store that also in a variable, and because we are using it in multiple places, it makes sense to have it in a variable. So this is the file path, and here also we print the file path. And if file failed to open, we'll simply return from this function, because this is the error case. So let's also write it error. Okay, great. So inside the loop, what we do now, we are reading line by line from file. So each line has to be read in some variable. So let's take a variable where we can store the line that we are reading from the file. So char line, and let's take it of size 300, assuming that's the max length of a title a book can have. Now again, in order to read from file, we'll be using the function fgets, because again here also file will have book name will have spaces in it. So we are not going with fscanf, we are going with fgets. Now fgets is similar to gets, only difference is it will take one additional parameter, which is file pointer. In gets we simply gave our array in which it should store the string, In fgetS also we will give line in which the answer should be stored. Apart from that, we should also tell which file we are reading from, and this F stands for read from file. Okay, so this way, after running this line variable will have the book title in it. So let's simply print it just to validate that we are reading correctly line. So this way we will be reading a line and we will be printing it, and we will continue to go. So till now what program is doing, it is opening the file, it is reading it line by line, it is printing all the lines. Then we will come and put our logic that if the string that is there in line, it matches book name, then it is available, otherwise it is not. Before that, let's compile and run our program. It says too few arguments. Let's see, it takes char star, it takes, okay, it's fgetS takes one more parameter, which is kind of length of the buffer. Okay, so there is a difference between getS and fgetS. It takes 3 parameters. So here, since we have 300, let's make it 301, so that 1 is for null character, and here we give size 300. That's the max characters we are reading from a file. Okay, now it got compiled. Let's run it. The book name, okay, right now it doesn't matter any book name we give, and we see the program ran and it is printing all the files, all the lines that it is finding in the file. Another important thing to know is when we read using fgetS, it also reads the new line character, because our file has new line character in it, and it is reading all the new line characters. So one new line character is coming, because of that another new line is we have put it here, but that should be fine for us. So what we are going to do now, we have to put a check. Now let's make it this feature like this, that a user can enter a partial string also. So one way is we can put a check like, if user enters complete think and grow rich, only then we say book is available. But let's make a feature like this. If he says think and, we will be printing all the book names that even contain the string that user is searching for. So we are doing not a full comparison, we will be doing a partial comparison. So for that, what we will do, we will see if the line and the book name, if both of them match, that is something that we are searching for. So we will be using string function, because we are comparing 2 strings. So we will use a function which is string str. Otherwise, if we want to do a full match, we would use strcmp. Strcmp is for comparing 2 strings. Let's do that first, and then we'll come to partial match. So we are comparing 2 strings. The first one is book name, and second one is line that we have read from the file. If both of them match, then string compare will return us 0. So if it returns us 0, then what we are going to do is, if this returns 0, then we will print it. Otherwise we will not print the name, we will continue to go. So let's run this program now, compile it. Okay, so for string compare, ideally we should have included string.h. Okay, let's compile, let's run it. Now let me copy one of the book name, think and grow rich. Let's go here, add it and paste, enter. It says you entered think and grow rich, but after that it did not print here. The reason it did not find the match is because when we read a line using fgetS, it puts in the last character, it puts a new line. It also reads the new line from the file. So there is a difference between these 2 strings that we are matching. The first string is this, and second string is with new line. That is what we are reading from file. So that is causing the difference. So what we should do is, we should be comparing only those many characters as that are there in our book name, not the new line character. So we will use another variation, strncmp. ncmp means we are comparing only first n characters, and first n characters of book name and line. And what is that n that we are comparing? We will say string length of book name, because book name does not have a new line character, only line has new line character. So let's compare only those many characters, and let's run the program again and see the output. This time you see this is printing the match because we are able to find the match. Now another feature if we want to build, that is we want to make it case insensitive. Even if user enters small r, it should say the book is there. Right now our program will not run because we have made it case sensitive. String compare by default is case sensitive. See, it did not say it found. Ideally, let me print here found. Now let's compile it. Let's go and paste it. It said you entered, but it did not say found because we have made r smaller, and in the file the r is capital. So if you want to do case insensitive comparison, then there is a function strncmpi, I guess. Let me see if that function is there. Okay, I think it is strcmpi. No. So what we should do, case insensitive. Okay, looks like there is no function like that. C case sensitive string compare case insensitive. Otherwise we'll have to write our own function, which is something that I wanted to avoid. Things are similar, strings are different. Yeah, this is the logic that ideally we can write. Basically we can convert both of them to upper or to lower and check. But okay, so let's live with this right now. Or let's give one more try, because it is not part of standard, but let's see. Right click, find declaration of this. Okay, here we have strncmp. There's only one function like that, and icmp. Okay, we see there is a function which is written here, extra non-nc functions provided by crtdll library. Okay, so we do have some function which can help us here. Let's go here. But this, if we are using, we are kind of going outside the standard library. So we have underscore strncmp, which is provided by the GCC compiler. So now if we run it, and let me copy that case insensitive string, it's a smaller case, we go and we paste it, and this time we see it says found. Even though it found the capital letter 1, it still matched and printed the output. So great, we are able to do a found, and this is doing the complete comparison. So what we wanted was, we wanted to do a partial comparison. So let's search out a function for that, str that is, and it checks if one string is a substring of another or not. So that is what this str does. Let's quickly take a look at the documentation. Okay, so what this function says is, it returns a pointer to the first occurrence of str2, or null if it is not, if str2 is not part of str1. So str1 is the superstring, str2 is a substring. That's how we have to call this. So let's go ahead and do that. So we are commenting this line out because this is not what we wanted. We are saying if str, the first is the bigger string, which is the line that we have read from the book, second one is the book name, and we are saying if the book name is part of the line that we have read, if this is not equal to null, then we will say the book is found. If this is null, then we can say book is not found. So because that is what the documentation said. It will return a null pointer if string 2 is not part of the string 1. So if they do not match, it will return null. Okay, one more thing, I did not put the starting curly bracket because we commented that out with previous code. So compile it, let's run it, and this time I am simply going to say write rich, and it says it found think and grow rich. So that solved our problem. Now we are able to do a partial match using str function. If you want to do a complete match, then the function to use is strncmp. If you want to do case insensitive match, then it is strncmpi. So one more thing, one last thing, let's see. If we have a case insensitive version for this also. Okay, there is no case insensitive version for str, so that will be an advanced thing to do. We'll have to write our own function to do a string case insensitive comparison. Right now, if we run this code with small reach, it's not going to work because str is doing a case sensitive comparison, not case insensitive. Okay, so now we have solved this problem. Let's solve the problem. If we come out of the loop, we want to say not available, and inside ideally we should have said available, and we are also printing the book name that we found in the file. So we are printing line, not book name, because book name can be partial also. Now imagine a case in this, if there are more than one matches in our file. So in our file, let's say if I enter only the, then a lot of matches will be found. The name of Rose, the eagle has landed, the height report, all these things will be there. So let me do one thing. First run the code and we enter the, and we see all of them are available. They are shown available. Now the problem in this code right now is it comes out of the loop and it says not available also. So it is printing all of them are available, but after coming out it is saying not available. Now we can't even put a return here, because if we return, it will print the first available book and it will return. So what should be the right way to fix this is, let's say int found equals to 0. If we find the book, so we say found equals to 1. This found is a flag, it's an indication that will tell we found the book or not. So here we will check if found is 0, only then print not available. If found is 1, then we have found the book, don't print this. So now we run it, rich, and it says available, and not available is not printed because this variable saved us from there. Well, so that was the search part in a file. So now rather than giving the full path, I want to make this code as machine independent, that anyone can open this project in their code blocks and run it. So I'll remove the full path and I'll copy this book list and I will paste it in the same folder where our book search source code is. If they are in the same folder, then we don't need to give the full path, only partial path will do. Now also if we run the code, we say the eagle not available because we did not enter the case sensitive thing. So again we say the eagle, and it says it is available, the eagle has landed. Well, so that was the book matching part in a library management system.